Do you want to play a game? Podcast.
They're here.
Welcome to another episode of Blood, Gore, and Ghouls podcast. I'm your host, Ian Van Ghoul. Again, this week I'm rolling solo, but there is a reason for that, and that's because I just got home from Pittsburgh. It's been a very busy day, very tired, but I wanted to, get an episode out this week, so I figured I'd hop on here, go over a few things, talk to you guys for a few minutes. We'll just call it a little Christmas quickie. How about that? But yeah, let's get into the events of today. So like I said, I just got home from Pittsburgh, went to Steel City Con today. What an experience. This is probably my third or fourth, I think my fourth now at this point, time going there. It's been a blast every time. But this one was really, really good. Let me tell you why. So as a horror fan and collector of horror things, there's a shit ton of vendors there, and usually I can find at least a few things that I bring home. This time though, there wasn't much in the way of goodies, at least for me. At this point, I'm kind of running out of room, so I kind of keep it very limited as far as what I collect, unless it's something kind of super rare, super something really really cool. I usually have to kind of skip over it. But I do like to collect the Toonie Terrors, little figures, the cartoonish horror characters. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, see them behind me here on the wall. So there's quite a few new ones out that have come out over the past year or so. Unfortunately, there weren't really many there that people were selling. So that was the one thing I was looking for. Didn't come home with any, but that's fine. It saved me a few bucks. But it was a really good time because there were a shitload of really cool celebrities at this one. Sometimes it's kind of hit or miss. There'll be a few that I'm really into, really interested in either meeting or kind of seeing from afar. But this one, ton of awesome celebrities. So if you've been listening for the past few weeks, of course I was really stoked that Sam Raimi was going to be there. Unfortunately, he had to cancel, but his brother Ted was there. So of course Ted Raimi is he plays Henrietta in Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead is my favorite franchise, so I had to meet Ted. That was my one goal today, was to meet Ted Raimi. I wasn't sure what I was going to have him sign. I didn't take anything with me. So I kind of browsed around the vendors and I hit up my friends at Time Bomb Toys. If you're ever in Pittsburgh or the Pittsburgh area, definitely check out their shop. They have a store in Pittsburgh. Again, they're called Time Bomb Toys, but they have really really cool horror merchandise and collectibles. Just a ton of really cool shit. Honestly, I've never been able to go to their physical shop. Every time I'm in Pittsburgh, I want to go, and either I run out of time, or when I do have time and want to stop there, they're usually out of town at like another convention or something. So it's never worked out that I've actually been able to go to their shop, but they have a booth at Steel City Con every time. So I always check out their stuff, and I think every single time I've bought at least one thing from them. So they always have kind of like mini posters and so I browsed through. They had an Evil Dead 2 poster, and I was like, "Yep, that's it right there." So I picked that up, went to Ted Raimi, met him, and he was super sweet, man. He was one of the coolest, nicest celebrities that I've met. Super down to earth, super sweet. When you meet celebrities like that and they're doing the signings and stuff, a lot of times, like, it's not that they're not nice, but they're just, they sign it and then you go. He took a few minutes out, talked to me. We didn't have time to really talk about movies or anything, but it was just kind of hey, how you doing? How's the con going for you? And even just that, it's not, it's just a few words, but it means so much. And like I said, he was super sweet. Signed the poster, I got a picture with him. It was awesome. It was amazing. So I met Ted, uh, and then V Neal was there, and she, of course, is the legendary makeup artist. She's done work on a ton of Tim Burton movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, and she was also a judge on Face Off on the Sci-Fi Channel. She was a judge on there for many years. So I knew she was going to be there. So I wanted to make it a point to try to meet her as well, uh, and made that happen. So I got to meet V Neal, and I of course didn't have anything for her to sign either. And they always have, like kind of 8x10 pictures that you can choose which one you'd want them to sign. So she has a ton of pictures on her at her booth, and there's ones of her doing makeup on Michael Keaton for Beetlejuice, which would have been a great choice. Ones of her doing makeup on Johnny Depp for Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan, but I wanted something more horror related. And then I saw the perfect picture, and it was a picture of V Neal in the middle, Johnny Depp on her right, and Martin Landau on her left, and it was from the movie Ed Wood. So, of course, Johnny's playing Ed Wood. Martin Landau is playing. Oh wow! It just escaped me. Dracula. Wow, I feel like a failure right now. Bella Lugosi. Bella Lugosi. Sorry, don't yell at me. Um, so yeah, Martin Landau is playing Bella Lugosi, and I was like, yes, that's the perfect picture. So I had her sign that. Got a picture with V Neal. She was super sweet as well. It was awesome. So those were the two that I actually got to meet and talk to. I went there with my buddy Tomoto, who was on a few episode a few weeks back. We talked about our favorite horror directors. So if you haven't checked out that episode, go back, listen to that. But yeah, we rolled out there, and he's a huge Alex Winter fan, Bill and Ted. Of course, Alex was in the Lost Boys as well. But yeah, he got to meet Alex Winter, and he signed his copy of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Uh, Another fantastic experience. So yeah, overall, really really cool. Of course, like most of the cast from Scream was there, and there's a hotel beside the convention center that the past few cons they've been putting all the like real big celebrities over there to kind of split up the crowd, which works pretty well. But yeah, we didn't really get to see any of them per se. But yeah, the one thing that we wanted to do, so we went there obviously to check out the vendors, see what kind of goodies there were, to meet the people that we wanted to meet. So for him, it was Alex Winter. For me, it was V Neal and Ted Raimi. And then we wanted to check out this Scream panel at 4 o'clock. So you have this big like conference room, banquet room, whatever you want to call it, where they'll have the celebrities come out and talk for I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, and we really wanted to check that out. So this was the only downfall of the day, and I'm a little disappointed in Steel City because it was very very unorganized for this particular thing. So John Cleese was there. He had a panel before the Scream panel, so there's already a ton of people in there. And we went a little bit earlier because we're like, oh, we'll get there, half hour early or so. Give us some time to kind of get into the room and hopefully get some seats because we already knew it's going to be crowded. Everyone loves Scream, so we were hoping to get in there and be able to check it out. So we roll up there and it's already like there's people pouring out of the room. John Cleese is still talking. He finishes up, and then there's a 15-minute gap between his panel and the Scream panel, and it's just mass chaos. There was no nothing prepared, no sort of you know any kind of order at all to it. It was just people trying to get in this room. The security and people who work for the con kind of being like, no, you can't get into this room. And of course, I think most of the people that were in there for John Cleese stayed in that room for the screen panel. So there was no one, like we were hoping there were people were going to come out of the room and then we could get into the room, and that didn't happen. So and I felt bad because there was people kind of in line with us who were VIP, who paid hundreds of dollars for VIP, and they were in the same position we were. It was just mass fucking chaos, and it was very very unorganized. So, I'd imagine they would know that Scream is going to bring in a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that want to see this panel. VIP obviously should be able to get in with no issue because they paid that price. They should be able to get in there, and it was just a clusterfuck. So the people that were around us did eventually they were able to get into the room, but I'm sure there were other people in that crowd that were VIP that couldn't get in, and then right before the panel started, they shut the doors, so we couldn't even get in at all. We couldn't see it at all. So I was pretty bummed about that. But the plus side of that was where we were hanging out was like the kind of hallway that goes uh, kind of backstage to the panel. So as we're standing there, uh, all the celebrities walked right past us. So I did get to see. I didn't get to meet or talk to them, but I did get to see David Arquette. He walked right past me. Nev Campbell walked right past me. Giancarlo Esposito walked right past me. um, it was really cool. So I got to see all these people. Ming Na Wen, the voice of Mulan. She's also in Agents of Shield and Boba Fett. So I was in. She was a couple feet away from me. She walked past. Lee Waddell, who plays Ghostface in the first Scream movie, he was the only person that I did want to meet, but we, just didn't have time. And then after all the nonsense of trying to get into the panel and not being able to, we were just ready to go. So I didn't get to meet him like I wanted to, but it's all good. But it was cool. He was wearing like a biker cut, and on the back had original Ghostface. It was a funny little thing. But yeah, he walked past. Kurt Angle, the wrestler, went past. John Carroll Lynch, he was another one I did want to meet as well, but it just didn't work out. You know, funds wise and time and all that. But he walked past a few times. Very very tall dude. But yeah, it was cool to see him in person. And of course, like I said, Alex Winter, Tomoto got to meet him, so I was in that area. Lou Diamond Phillips was pretty much right beside Alex Winter, and Alec Baldwin. I saw him for a second. He kind of popped in and out. Raymond Cruz he's Tuco from Breaking Bad. He did walk past and acknowledged, so I got a little head nod from Tuco, which was pretty cool. So yeah, it was just me kind of fanboying out, for a few minutes there as we were waiting to hopefully get into the Scream panel, but unfortunately it did not happen. But I was pretty bummed about it because I was very interested in the conversations, the what the cast would say, if there'd be any talk about the state of Scream 7, which I doubt very much that would be brought up, but you never know. Uh, but yeah, so hopefully I can catch some videos online or something. I can check it out. But regardless, it was a very very fun time. That was the only downfall of the day. Um, Everything else was great. Amazing experience. Definitely recommend it. Um, if you've never been to a con or Steel City Con, definitely check it out if you get the chance. But yeah, some upcoming things. So I think the plan is right now, next week, I think Tomoto is going to be joining me again because we're going to do our best of 2023 episode. So we're going to kind of do like a top 5 or top 10 list of our personal favorite movies that have been released in 2023. Um, of course, neither one of us has seen every movie released, this year, but we've seen quite a few. So we're going to go over our lists and what our favorites are. If you have any favorites or want to let me know what your favorites are of 2023, please do so. Send me an email at bloodgoreandgoalspodcast@gmail.com. I love hearing from listeners, from fans. Um, uh, it's always a fun time. So please let me know. Send me your list. But yeah, the following week then from there will be our Christmas episode. I'm not sure who the guest is going to be yet, but be going over some of our favorite Christmas horror movies. So that'll be a fun time as well. And again, let me know your favorite Christmas horror movies. I'm always interested in what other people's opinions are of horror movies and what your favorites are compared to my favorites. And it's always a fun time. So speaking of Christmas horror movies, currently on day 9 of my Christmas horror movie reviews on TikTok and YouTube. Uh, Last year, I went a little too hard on reviewing all the really good ones. So this year, it's been a little rough, getting into more of the kind of low budget, not as good movies. It's still a fun time though, and we're only on day 9. So uh, definitely have some to look forward to. But yeah, there's been a few so far this year that have not been the best. But I'm here to review the good and the bad. So it's always a fun time regardless. But yeah, like I said, send me an email. Let me know what your favorite Christmas horror movies are, what your favorite movies are of 2023. Let me know. I'm always interested in, like I said, hearing what other people's favorites are. And as I said last week, I am working on big things for the show in the next year. I'm working on merch designs right now. You can check out the current ones, goalsquadshop.com. I do draw and design all my own merch. So it does take a little bit more time than, maybe some other places, but everything's in the works. I'm working on it. Here in the next week or two, I'm going to start working on uh, redoing the studio so it have a different look. And I'm excited for it. Like I said last week, hopefully it'll be a little more accommodating for guests. Because right now it works, but it's not ideal. So hopefully we can get a kind of better flow to the studio, and yeah, get some new designs, some new merch, some new artwork for social media, some new profile pictures and banners and things like that. A lot of things that I'm working on. I'm very excited for. Also working on a new intro and outro for the show. I really enjoy the ones that I have for it now, but I want something that's a little more, I don't know, maybe recognizable or a little more fitting for the show. So that's all in the works too. So once it's all up and running and put together, I'll be very excited and have it out there for everyone to enjoy. That being said, I'm also looking for some new guests. So I'm hoping to be able to get some guests via Skype, Discord, or FaceTime. As soon as I figure out the best way production wise to do it. But I'm also looking for new guests that are able to be in studio as well. So if you're interested in being a guest on Blood, Gore, and Ghouls, send me an email. Like I said, uh, send me an email at bloodgoreandgoalspodcast@gmail.com or hit the DMs on TikTok, Instagram, or Discord. Uh, Speaking of TikTok, I do need to start doing some TikTok lives as well. I was so stoked to hit 1,000 followers so I'd be able to do lives. And I hit 1,000 and then I just have never done a live. So I think I'm going to work on that here in 2024 as well. Get some things put together for some lives. Um, Nothing too crazy, nothing too elaborate, but just kind of hang out with viewers and fans and have a good time. Maybe answer some questions, talk about horror movies. See what we get into. But it'll be a fun time. Just have to make it happen. But yeah, be sure to follow on TikTok. Tell your friends, your parents, your neighbors about the show. Spread the word. I love talking horror. I really enjoyed doing the podcast and making the TikToks. It's all a lot of fun. And I'd love to keep growing the audience. So if you guys could just please spread the word, like, follow, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. If you'd be so kind, that would be amazing. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, for today, I'm going to get out of your hair. I appreciate you all watching, listening, supporting. Seriously, it all means so much to me. And like I said, I'd want to continue to do this forever, for as long as I can. Uh, and, just a like, a follow, a subscribe, and a review. Any of those just mean the world to me, and every little bit helps. So I appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll be back next week with the best of 2023 horror movies with Tomoto V3. But again, thank you, everyone. That'll do it for another episode of Blood, Gore, and Ghouls. Again, hit the show notes for all the links, all the social media links. Everything you need will be in the show notes. But until next week, I've been your host, Ian Van Ghoul. Have a ghoulish week and stay safe out there.